he is wobbled by a left hook, and he's in trouble, and wobbled by a left hook, and he's in trouble, and Cotto's dumping him.
The year was 2010. A young and hungry 19-year-old Canelo Alvarez stepped into the ring for his 32nd professional fight. His name was already echoing through the boxing world, and his future painted in gold. But on that night inside the MGM Grand, everything nearly came crashing down. Under the watchful eye of Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions, Canelo was being groomed for greatness. His record shining with 31 wins and 1 draw. It was spotless, but critics still questioned if he had been truly tested. Outside the ring, his life was just as bright. He was dating Marisol Gonzalez, a television hostess and former Miss Universe contender. The young Mexican had the talent, the backing, and the spotlight, but none of that would matter once the bell rang. On May 1st, 2010, Canelo faced the battle-tested Puerto Rican fighter Jose Miguel Cotto. It was a 10-round war set as the co-main event of a night headlined by Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Shane Mosley. Tony Weeks stood in the center, ready to officiate what many believed would be another dominant performance from boxing's rising star. But the moment the fight began, everything changed. The opening moments were a game of patience and precision as Canelo advanced cautiously.
They get their amateur experience as professional.
44 professional. Too fast a start for his career.
But Jose Miguel Cotto wasn't rushing in either. He was a predator lying in wait, eyes locked on the perfect moment to strike.
No, I don't think so, because they along the amateur career, say there's not a good amateur.
Jose Miguel Cotto, as you can see, is a body punch.
And then he did.
He seemed to feel as though Cotto opponent for Alvarez to be facing. There's a good right hand.
Using his right hand as a decoy, Cotto unleashed a thunderous left hook that sent Canelo staggering as the ropes caught his fall.
19-year-old. And he wobbled by a left hook, and he's in trouble, and Cotto's dumping him.
The young star was in deep waters, and Cotto could smell blood.
He dodges a right hand, comes back with a right. His solution is to fight.
Cotto continued to drill Canelo with crushing right hands.
So successful, you don't know a lot about having to clinch. But he's fighting back and trying.
The veteran poured on the punishment, unleashing a storm of punches that had the crowd on its feet.
And while he's still hurt.
It was a left hook that wobbled him. Alvarez is trying.
But then the bell rang, breaking Cotto's relentless assault and giving Canelo a lifeline.
That way.
Uppercut by Alvarez lands. Almost.
Back in his corner, Eddie Reynoso's voice cut through the chaos as he told young Canelo to stay calm. You are the better boxer. You can win this fight.
The first round only. There's 10 rounds. You're a better fighter. You're a better boxer. Relax. Okay.
As the second round began, the atmosphere in the ring shifted as the feeling out process was over. And since Canelo had studied his prey, now it was time to strike.
To watch.
Well, Emmanuel, we were talking about hooking off the jab in the last fight, and we've already seen that Alvarez does it too.
Alvarez is a very well-trained fighter. I'm looking at
jab in the last fight, and we've already seen that Alvarez does it too.
As soon as the bell rang, the 19-year-old Mexican prodigy started stalking Cotto, inching forward with measured steps.
That defensive jab, that's going to probably neutralize that.
Moments later, he unleashed a thunderous uppercut that sent Cotto crashing to the canvas.
Totally separate, go past each other. Never interfere with each other's thing.
Good counter right hand up and under.
The shot was pure dynamite. It perfectly timed, surgically placed, and devastatingly effective.
Land the right hand a little too far out. This is because of the height advantage and the disadvantage that he had.
For a moment, it looked like the fight was in the bag, but to his credit, the Puerto Rican veteran forced himself up, shaking his head as if trying to clear the fog.
Coming in off balance and was coming in.
He landed 9-2. That was something of a comeback route.
Canelo, however, had already smelt blood, and like a lion that had wounded its prey, he had no intention of letting Cotto recover.
For the most part, neither.
Well, what Jose Cotto is doing is
analyze
The dominance begins. With the onslaught now in full swing, Cotto tried to slow things down with movement and counterpunching.
That means cinnamon. They call.
Well, I'm thrilled you corrected me, Harold. I did not notice that Tony Weeks didn't rule it a knock.
He circled, flicked out jabs, and tried to create distance, but Canelo was relentless.
And thank you, Harold, for your sharp eyes. Good uppercut.
Every time Cotto took a step back, Canelo took 2 forward. Every time Cotto threw a shot, Canelo slipped it and returned fire with double the force.
Right there. Hard right hands up and under, and the body shot. Another well-placed uppercut with the left hand.
Canelo's combinations were surgical, especially hooks to the body that dug deep into Cotto's ribs, crosses that snapped his head back, and crisp uppercuts that reminded the veteran exactly what had sent him to the canvas earlier.
He has unusual athletic core to the shots.
And what I see is great poise.
Canelo wasn't just winning rounds, he was breaking his opponent down piece by piece.
Not throwing back, finally releases his hand. Jose Miguel Cotto had 3 fights last year, largely inactive in 07.
Sharp, very crisp, punching with full authority and crisp.
Midway through the fight, Cotto's punches had lost their snap.
And now, as the last minute of round 6 arrives, he heats it.
Cotto's eyes no longer held the confidence they did in the opening moments of the fight.
Very well schooled fighter.
On the other hand, a powder puff puncher compared to your guy, right?
Yeah, but the guys that Foreman has fought, the guys that nobody have knocked out. No respect for you at Foreman. Me and Miguel, the whole camp.
As the rounds passed, Canelo pressed forward like a battle tank, cutting off the ring with intelligent footwork, forcing Cotto to fight at a pace he couldn't sustain.
Now, when this round comes to a close, we're going to get into the retirement against Juan Manuel Marquez. Test you want, and
the Puerto Rican veteran had moments, short bursts of resistance where he landed a clean shot or two, but they were merely sparks in a storm that had already consumed him.
Torres just won a fight, looked terrific in a one-sided fight.
Tonight, yes, considering the fact that I know he's about 10 pounds.
Alvarez is here.
By the 8th round, Cotto was running on fumes.
For a 19-year-old fighter, but he is. There was a moment when Alvarez went 4 straight fights, whose names we don't know, but the 4th one was Larry.
His punches had lost their sting, his footwork had turned sluggish, and his body betrayed the signs of a man who had endured too much punishment.
Years ago, we had seen him in some lesser
fights.
And
he was 17 at the time.
Going performances was that he needed to learn I was going to learn. Now, whether that's true or not,
He's fight like a seasoned fight. He's rolling his shoulders, counting punches.
Canelo was only getting started, and then came the 9th round, the final chapter of a fight that had long been decided.
And at this point,
I just think that he's certainly not trying to sit on a lead here.
Canelo unleashed a furious barrage of punches, each one landing with terrifying accuracy.
That the punching power is less than what was billed. I think this is...
Yeah, I don't think he was billed right hand right over the top.
Cotto stumbled, with his defense crumbling under the assault.
Back, Alvarez targeting right hand shots, Tony Weeks looking, how much punishment?
By then, the referee had seen enough, and he stepped in to save Cotto from a brutal beatdown.
He's throwing back, but without any velocity. Alvarez is teeing off, and Tony Weeks is going to stop it right there. They were just...
As his hand was raised in victory, Canelo didn't celebrate wildly. He simply nodded, as if he knew this was only the beginning. Because in his mind, this wasn't just another fight. This was the first true test of his mettle. The first step on a journey that would lead him to become one of the greatest fighters of his generation. That night, Canelo Alvarez didn't just defeat Jose Miguel Cotto. He announced to the world that he was coming for the throne, and he wasn't stopping until he had it. Is Canelo Alvarez the greatest boxer of all time? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update.